Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Cousin
Connection
Podcast.
Ooh, we did it right.
Yeah. As you guys can see, we have a very special guest. We have Rania, the artiste, the mogul, the entrepreneur.
She's so extra. I'm just, I'm humbled to
my
be here.
older
Thank you.
sister.
Also the cousin,
Also the cousin.
connection,
We're actually,
everything.
yes, we're really cousins, like legit cousins, guys.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. We're keeping it in the family.
Yes. I think our our parents are like your dad, right? Yeah,
He's from my dad's side, yeah.
Your dad's side.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're really cousins, guys.
Yeah.
So
Keep that cousin connection for real, I'm just saying.
Rania has been in our lives literally since we were babies.
Yeah. Wait,
don't date my kids,
Oh yeah,
guys.
exactly.
No.
Like
She's
I'm
only
still
like 2 years
25,
older than
guys.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
I'm
still
25.
Yeah, she's 25. Yeah. Younger than me.
Yeah, younger
Yes.
than us. And I mean, for me, I think our relationship has always been like a sister type of relationship. We talk about literally everything. And she's actually one of the first people I ever told that I wanted to do a podcast. I think after
We
you
mentioned a
rejected
couple
me,
times your
right?
name.
Yeah. And she was like the biggest supporter, and she's like, go for it. Like, I'll be your first subscriber.
Which I am subscribed, so it's pretty cool. I'm so proud I'm really proud of the both of you, because I know she called me. She's like, what do you think about this idea? I'm like, just go for it. Like, what are you gonna lose? Who cares? Just give it a shot. And look where you're at now. So kudos.
Exactly. So you guys can give all the credit to Rania right here, for all this happening.
Exactly. But we have a lot to talk about today. I'm so excited that you're here.
I'm excited to be here too, and I'm honored. So thank you. Yeah,
of course,
this
you're
is great.
welcome. We're so happy to have you on. I've wanted you on literally since before this even came about. Like before the podcast even started, I was like, remember, I'm going to talk to you and we're going to have you on.
And when did you guys start? Like, it was
last year, like around April, March, that kind of thing.
And look where you're at now. This is crazy. Do you see? Like, you just start something and then you just execute. You just
all
do
about
it.
executing and then consistency, especially in this kind of game.
Exactly.
Like, you got to make sure you're just consistent with it, and people will stay, and you'll build a nice following.
That's true. That's true.
And I mean, I feel like, at this point, you're kind of a vet when it comes to starting new projects. And I think, to introduce you to our audience, like, I kind of want you to like walk us through the evolution of Rania. Like, how did you, I don't know if you guys know this, but Rania is a very successful wedding planner, event planner. Like, she has been killing it, not just in the East African community, but the African community, the South Asian community, every single, like, in Toronto, she's just been killing it, and she's been doing like destination weddings. So if y'all are thinking
and
of
on
getting
top
married,
of that, you've been like a community organizer.
Exactly.
And like, you have multiple businesses, right? It's not just the one.
So like, just to answer your question, so my whole brand about Weddings with Nia, that hey, by the way, subscribe, or is that what it's called? Subscribe? I don't know.
Follow on
right on
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm still building my brand. Weddings with Nia, it has like a dual name, right? So it's like Weddings with Intention and Weddings with Me. So everything that I do, my mantra is about personalization, intentions, and doing it the right way. So that's how I started the whole wedding planning. So I just had to figure out a name and what it's all about. But basically, wedding planning was a result of, my own wedding. Like, I thought it was like a disaster, right? So I was so stressed out. Like, it was back in 2018.
Yeah.
So my husband and I, we were looking for a house. And so, money's tight. Like, you're super busy.
Especially in this city.
Oh my God. Yes. And that was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. So I was previously married. I got divorced, and doing this all over again, it was just, it's
stressful.
It's so stressful. Like, and
Yeah.
it gets to you, you get emotionally charged, you fight with your spouse at that time. Like, it's just a big mess. And then when I was like at my wedding, I'm like, you know what? I'm so stressed out. Like, I couldn't find my mom. I couldn't find my sisters. Like, I felt like I was by myself just planning the wedding, even though it was a smaller scale. Like, for those of you who've been to my first wedding, I mean, like, that was huge, right?
Yeah.
And I planned the entire wedding from start to finish.
You did that by yourself?
All of it?
By myself. Like,
I remember
I had
that
family
wedding.
and friends who helped, but it was
Wow.
very like grand.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
there's so many different pieces, and I just didn't understand how someone can do this on their own, right?
Yeah.
So just fast forward to 2018, I got married. I swear I'll remember, it was during the Ankar Mahtab, and it just got messed up because it was like all over the place. I was getting frustrated, and I'm like, this cannot happen to any other bride. So I'm like, that's it. I'm going to be a wedding planner. I swear I made that decision.
Really?
She's going to make the sacrifice for you
yes,
guys.
I know. Honestly, because I said to myself, there's absolutely no way someone can take on all this stress.
Yeah.
And I'm the bride. Why should I be asked all these questions on my wedding?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense, right? So I sat down. I looked at my husband at that moment. I'm like, that's it. We have to get a wedding planner in our community. Someone that understands our culture, our identity, the way we like behave at weddings. You know, there's so many things and concepts and ideologies within our community that other people won't understand. So you guys will not believe it. I made that decision. I got married in June. July, I started like looking at some courses, but because I already have transferable skills, like I've already done lots of events, and I'm naturally a go-getter. Like if I want something, I'm not gonna stop. Like I'll find a way. And then as of October, that was my first wedding, and guess who hired me?
Who?
It was a Somali bride.
Oh,
she
no
believed
way.
in me. It was like my first wedding. So shout out to all the Somalis. You know, they are the ones who got me here because they're the main foundational clients, and they just refer you to every single client. And I'm not even Somali, right? So that was my first Somali bride. Ever since then, it just exploded through referrals. So that's how it started. It was just, I just did it.
Good
just
for
did
you.
it. Yeah. So,
Good
and
for
now
you.
people trust me to do their weddings. So that's how it started.
Yeah.
And I feel like you are the what is it called when you're like the main business? Is it called a monopoly?
go-to?
Like you're like the monopoly.
So in Toronto, like it's very multicultural, but the East African community is not showcased. Nobody really knows our culture except ourselves, literally, right? Nobody showcases it. Nobody talks about it. So it's a niche market. And, you know, every single wedding planner has a niche. Like South Asians, they have their own community. They have their own wedding planners. And we don't have that in our community. Like, have you guys heard of any wedding planner in Toronto?
No. I literally didn't know. Like, I knew about wed planning for TV shows, but I never thought that would be
J-Lo,
like a thing.
remember that movie?
Yes,
That's the
Wasn't
that's
it
the
literally
image.
called The Wedding Planner?
The wedding planner, yeah. And
It
she was
is.
like running around and dealing with mother-in-laws and all that stuff. But for us, like the wedding experience is not there, and that's what I want to do with like my business itself. Like I have a team of 6 now, so I'm not doing it by myself.
Okay,
I used to do like weddings by myself, like 500, 600 guest count. Like you're running around, and I said, you know what? I have to leverage my time, and I have to leverage my skills. So I expanded. So I have 6 people on my team now.
Oh, damn. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, evolving. Like I still have to work on the business side as well. Like, you know, the marketing, the social media, it takes up a lot of time. However, because of the referrals, it just like they just come in. Like I don't even have to advertise it's just word of mouth business.
Yeah,
really
I feel like
good.
at that point, it's like you don't even need to worry about social media because like you don't want to overwork yourself at that point.
Yes. And
I think social media is still important to grow your business.
I guess so,
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
It's still a very important aspect, especially with social media marketing.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
don't neglect it per se.
Yeah.
But you know, the fact that you're able to rely on word of mouth recommendations is amazing.
Yes.
Like that just speaks to the quality of your work.
I
And
love it. It's fun.
and you know, I'm just thinking about it. Like I've never been married before, but I've seen people around me, and I know how stressful it can be. So, what would you say is like your favorite part about doing this, and your least favorite part about doing this?
You know, for me, it's like the vision for Weddings with Nia, it's all about experience. So for me, my favorite part is, you know, the grand reveal. You guys know what that is? It's like, you know, just when everything is done, like the whole decor, the design, I want my couples to see like for the first time, like this is where they're going to have their reception before anybody arrives. So that just that feeling of happiness and gratitude. Oh my, it's like the best feeling, because we work so hard for like 8-9 months, sometimes a year to get to this point. And the bride, like literally, they usually either cry, they freak out, and I feel like, you know, I'm part of that experience, that dream. It's like a dream come true. Like we think about marriage like when we're like 2 years old. Like, oh my god, I want to have this prince, right? So just articulating that and having that vision for my clients is like the best part. And also the design, you know, figuring out color palettes, how is your reception going to look like? That's the fun part. The hard part is, you know, dealing with a lot of different personalities, managing I was a bridezilla, okay? So I know how, yes, I was a bridezilla, and it's not fun, right? And just dealing with multiple vendors. So for me, what's important as a wedding planner is to have the right team, right? So wedding planning for me, it's like baking a cake, you know? So you have the ingredients, you have the utensils, and then you have the recipe. Obviously, you can read the recipe and the ingredients, but when you put it together, sometimes it just doesn't come out right, right? So our community thinks, oh my God, I have my photographer, videographer, my makeup, hairstylist, and they think that's a wedding, but it's actually putting it all together. Yeah. And that's where the stress comes in. So for me, the stressful part is usually during the day, but we have a great foundation from the beginning. Yeah. So it makes it easier when we execute.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah. So design and just the grand reveal is my favorite. Just to answer your question.
Yeah. That's good.
And like, how much of the input from the brides and the grooms do you get? Like, do you sit down with them and be like, okay, exactly what color palette do you want to go with? Or like,
I was wondering that too.
Like, are these the flowers? Or do you be like, okay, just trust me with it. I'll take care of everything. Yeah. And like at the end, I'll do almost like, you know how like they used to do the extreme home makeovers?
Where they just like surprise, right?
That's what it looks like. Well, there's different types of brides and couples. For some reason, I'm getting a lot of grooms that are focused on their weddings. That's usually never happens.
I was gonna ask you that too.
A lot of the, like, you know, the partners, their spouses, they're the ones that are getting involved, their fiance in the wedding planning process. So that was never the case. It's usually I deal with the bride and her family, right? So, but right now, like our first consultation, like I get to know you. Like I figure out, okay, are we a good fit? Because I'm not control freak, right? And I have a type A personality as well, where I want to be able to know everything on the wedding day. So when there's too many cooks in the kitchen, you know what happens, right? So I want to be able to take on the stress. I want to be able to know exactly which vendors you're using, your color palettes, your design, but I give them that like that they give me some input as well. Okay. I don't do like the surprise factor. Sometimes I do, especially for the bride who is super busy. They have a lot of disposable income and they just trust me to do it. That's the ideal couple. The other demographics or couples that I usually work with, they do have disposable income as well. And you know, they're a little bit hands-on, but they don't want to be too hands-on. Okay. And then the third type of couple are the ones that are super hands-on. I usually back off. And they do the I focus on month of planning, but that's not my specialty. I want to start from the beginning all the way to the end. It's an experience for you.
And have you had to like say, okay, we might not work together, like just really?
I had to learn to do that. And you have to, you know, you evolve to be in business, you got to figure out what's good for you as well. It's at the end of the day, it's like, you know, there's a profit margin as well. You got to look at your bottom line. Is this worth my mental health? Because there's some couples or some brides, it's usually the brides, right? They get super emotional. It's just one day, and I understand. But like, if our personalities don't match, that's a problem. Because sometimes I'm super outgoing for them, and they can't handle it.
You don't want to keep getting pushed back every time you come up with something,
and it affects the outcome and the production phase, right? Because if at the beginning stage we're not on the same page, that's a problem. That's a red flag.
Have you ever like actually gone through with one where at the end you were like, I probably should not have done this?
So many times.
Really?
Yes, especially at the beginning when I'm trying to, you know, figure out who my like ideal clients are, my style of work, and then you start looking at other wedding planners and what they execute. So I'm trying to figure out who I am and what I stand for and what kind of a world I want to create for my brides, because it's just one day, right? Like it's just one day. So let's make that day special and magical. So I have to figure out who that clientele is. So it takes time, right? So now I know who the demographics that I work with. I know the type of clientele that I work with and who are attracted to me as well. Because some people don't like my style, right? There's some like couples that want to know everything, like micromanaging. It's like, I can't work with you. I can't. This is too much. And because I also have a team, I want to make sure that they're feeling 100% and they're ready, right? So I want to make sure, you know, there's a balance of both worlds. Like, you got to be sane a little bit. Right?
Okay. So that's fair. That's fair. So you know this and you know this too, but for our audience that's listening and watching, I actually had some questions prepared. I've gone through a couple of them here and there, but I kind of know the answers because we actually talk outside of the podcast. But, you know, for Amir and our audience to learn more about you, you know I kind of touched on this in the first question was through your journey through like the Harari community. I kind of want to like backtrack a little, rewind before we got to Weddings with Nia. There was something else that you were part of. Actually, there were a couple of things. You were
Yes,
fun.
I know.
Like I'm like, which
Yeah.
one am I thinking of first? So
We mentioned it multiple times on the podcast, and even showed it. I think on the previous, the second last podcast we posted, like an actual video, and you might have seen Rania.
Yeah, you
earlier.
might recognize her.
Little
from,
precursor,
from
exactly.
But talk us through how you got started with HPN, how you got started with the mobile makeup service, because that was a really cool idea.
Yes.
I remember I was a model for one of the tests.
Yes. Was Aisha model as well, or was it you
It was
and
me and my sister-in-law.
your
Mom.
sister-in-law?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm like, please do this for me.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember
right?
that now, yeah.
And then prior to HPN, you were also a prominent figure in the Harari community. Like, talk us through.
HPN is, by the way, is the Harari Professional Network.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if he said that. Yeah.
How long ago was that? Oh my God, that was probably
2017, I think.
2017, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Wow.
that when I looked at the video, I think that was the year that it was uploaded.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
put,
okay,
you
yes.
put like a little teaser, not teaser, but like
a trailer.
a trailer at the end of it, like after we had the
2016.
event.
2016.
Yes, I remember
Oh, was it?
2016.
Okay,
Yeah, because we had a
Yeah.
second one. So
You're right.
like just to answer your question, like if we go, let's go a little bit way back, before HPN, before. So when I was in university, like I just. By the way, I love celebrating. I love getting together with girlfriends, with my family. I'm
super
like
extroverted.
Super. And I can be introverted as well, right? But I always like to plan things, and I love celebrating, being around people. It's just fun. So back in I think 2003, 2004 time, you guys were probably like 2 years old.
Yeah, no, calm down.
I'm just saying,
okay.
So
I was in high school.
Yeah.
Maybe?
No, we were.
Maybe.
Oh, we were in grade
Oh
like
my
12
God.
or something.
Yeah. So like
Almost,
I was like, I like in university I had a couple of like I was in a group of friends and I just said, hey, let's just do a fundraiser. For, like out of nowhere. I don't even know where it came. Like,
a fundraiser for what?
That's what I had to figure out. I was like, let's just do something. And then I came up with this plan. I was like, let's raise money for East Africa. So it was called Rise, raising awareness.
that.
Yes, right, like raising awareness for East African issues. So I'm like, which issue can we do? Like it was AIDS. Like it was for during that time.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, how are we gonna attract all these people?
Yeah.
So do you guys remember Cottage on the Danforth? No,
Cottage
No.
on. Oh,
never mind.
I
is
think
that?
Is it like Danforth? Like
The Habasha area, back in the days where
Is that what it's called?
not anymore. It's like
it's near like Woodbine area or
like
no?
like
a little
right
bit
down
further
for,
down.
yeah, where
Yeah.
Rendezvous, that restaurant, it's like around
I think I
that
know what you're
area.
talking-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like a central spot where a lot of Habashas used to
Yeah.
go, like
Yeah.
it was a bar and all that good stuff, right? So and I said, what, let's have an event there. Honestly, that's all we did. And then I had a good girlfriend at that time who was from New York, and the whole era of spoken word was just about to get started.
Yeah.
It was like it was something cool to do, right?
Yeah.
And we got a couple of guys from Def Jam.
So
Really?
Yes. Like, do you guys know Omar Suleiman and
That
Like
sounds
the
so
shit.
familiar.
yeah, Kadir Latif, like all these big names. They were willing to come to Toronto because it was
Wow.
just started.
How did you get into contact with them?
Don't ask. Like it's just right. So they came to Toronto. We booked the Cottage, and it was a full house. And I remember your cousins like Khalid,
Yeah,
Munib,
Yeah.
Sabri. Everybody came, and they couldn't believe how packed it was. I'm like,
Wow.
this is pretty good, and I had
Yeah.
fun. It was
Yeah.
so much fun, and it was a place that people were gathering, listening to spoken word, like a lot of like. It was just fun. It was a time like people were getting together,
Yeah.
and then we did a second event just to raise money, and then the group were a mix of like. There was a bunch of Eritreans. There's Gesus. There's like so much. Like there was a mix of us.
Oh, it was mixed.
Yeah, it was a mixed group. I was just leading the whole thing, right? So, and then I remember there was a huge, like the thunderstorms. It was like
my God.
crazy. I'm like, nobody's gonna come.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
a packed house.
Really?
That's when I knew something is up. Like
That's the
people
most
love
like
it.
nervous feeling before an event.
Yes.
You don't know if it's actually gonna work, but then
Yeah.
once you see people like coming in, that's like you're like, okay, as long as I got like 10 people, I'm good.
That's it. That's it.
But when we get more, then it's like just cake
Yeah.
or icing on the cake, whatever.
Yeah.
It was. That's
Yeah.
when I knew. Oh my God! Like I love this. This is actually fun. But I didn't put two and two together. I just said, and then we quit. We're like, forget it. It's just too much work.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, my girlfriends know this story. I started a direct line. Yeah,
Oh,
it was
really?
called Halwa Designs. So it was so crazy. I know the things that I come up with. So it was basically at that time, you know, diras weren't as
Can you explain what a dira is? Oh shoot!
Ooh, sorry. So a dira is like it's a Somali outfit that you usually wear, whether it's at a wedding or at your home during barchas. It could be anything.
It's almost like
really
one
nice
giant piece of cloth, like,
and it's really
two
beautiful.
arms and a head, like a head hole.
Yeah, it just makes a woman sensual. It's just beautiful.
It's
right?
almost like an ethnic sundress.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
basically.
Okay.
Very colorful, right? Like it could be all blinked out or it could be more, you know, subtle, but it's just, it's so beautiful. It makes a woman look gorgeous. Like any woman that wears that, right? So I just thought, what about if I designed it a little bit different? Like, so you see how this dress is? Like I cut the dira and then I tried another design, like it was more customized. And then I made two of my girlfriends were like, we're going to go to a Somali wedding and we're going to wear it. People were asking about it. And that was back in like 2004.
Smart marketing right there.
Oh my God.
We just went there to like, this is so different. And then a couple of the hoyos are like, what is this? Why would you wear something like it was different at that time.
Yeah.
But because of the costs of, you know, purchasing diras at that time. And I'm like, this is not working out. But I made all my girlfriends buy like a dira for me. That was hilarious. Yeah. So after that, I knew like, you know, I was working. I was always hustling. I always had a side hustle. But then that's when Nadeem, your cousin, said, you know what, you're really good in sales. You got to do this with me. I was like, oh my God, it can't be Amway or all of that, you know, pyramid stuff.
Yeah.
But then he convinced me. It was ACN. Do you guys remember ACN? Yeah. Oh my God, you guys probably hated us, right?
I can't believe you were part of
Wait,
ACN.
So you said you don't want to be a part of a pyramid scheme, but fell into a pyramid
Yeah,
scheme?
because I'm like, I know, right? But it's well, technically, it's not a pyramid scheme, right? But MLM, right? It's something that people get turned off about, but it's it was the best experience. Like,
Really?
I literally went to all my family members. I'm like, I don't care. You're switching your phone. They're like, why are you doing this? I'm like, just do it. Help me out, you know? So getting a little bit of residuals here and there. And then I built a team. It was like almost like 70 people in my team.
Wow.
I stuck through it for almost 5 years. It was
God.
hard. I did not give up.
So you actually made it like a full-time job.
I was committed. Even though it didn't work out for me, I was so committed. And that's where my personal development, personal growth came through, right? That's when you learn a lot about tenacity, not giving up, self-confidence, self-doubt. You learn so much about people through this experience. So, and I met so many people like Zaki Zico, the MC. He was also part of ACN.
Was he?
Yes, he was.
I can tell that personality, your personality types are perfect.
Right?
That,
like, and we're so, and like you build those relationships with this experience. So I did that for almost 5 years. And I'm like, you know what? I need to stop because this is not working for me, but I gained so much value from that experience.
Why wasn't it working for you at the time? Was it like,
you know, it's
just too much work?
Not only the work, it's like, I don't think it was me. Like I had to force myself to do it. That's when I knew I'm not into this anymore. No,
about it.
I just had to prove a point to my family that this is going to work. Right. But even though I did, like I traveled to LA with him, you know, we went so many places, Nadeem and I, oh my God, he made like, he got me
really
into
got
it.
into it too. Yeah.
He was so
That's
into
so
it.
funny.
And I used to motivate him. He motivates me. We did everything together with that experience. And then I think he went to Dubai and then I was like, I don't know if this is for me. And I didn't think that was a failure. I thought that was more of an experience. I learned so much. It's like transferable skill sets. And then, you know, it was the time of my divorce. So then I said, you know what, let me pivot. Let me figure things out. Let me just reflect. Let me see who Rania is about. But I knew deep down inside, like, I had to be I have to do something. Like, I can't work 9 to 5 forever, right?
Yeah.
So I dabbled on little things. And then that's when the mobile app came through. Like,
Did that come before HPN?
That came before HPN.
Really?
Yes, it was before HPN. So during that time, like you know, do you remember around like 2014, 15, everybody was going to weddings every single weekend.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do
I
this
hated that
anymore.
year.
Because, right? You don't have to get your hair done, your makeup
shower
done.
and get dressed.
And everybody used to go to Mac.
Yep.
Remember?
But
And then
do you know how many dress shirts I had to buy?
Do you know a dress shirt is like what, $40? Gay Gannafi's like at that time was like $250.
Hey, my
now
closet's still
right
full of
now
them.
it's like so expensive.
Yeah.
So imagine I was like, you know what? I had enough about this. And I go, there has to be a way where I get artists to come to my house, do my hair, my makeup.
Yeah.
Convenience factor. And I said, we're going to do this. I researched. There was nothing in Toronto as much. Like that Uber type of, it was what an experience, okay? Because
Yeah.
I learned so much about the technology side, recruiting. So shout out to the Harari Heritage Center because they helped me with all the makeup. Like I used to recruit makeup artists.
Yeah.
I got models and
Yeah.
they practice and I would select the best makeup artists to
You
go
should
to
have filmed
people's
that and made
house.
into like a reality show.
Oh my
I know,
god,
imagine.
that was fun though, right?
It was.
Canada's
It
next
was.
top makeup artist.
Right. And then we started that for like within 2 years. We created the beta version, but we didn't go out and market. You know, we needed
Yeah.
seed funding, we invested our own money, so it was really challenging to scale. But what I did was I'm like, I know people want to go to weddings.
Yeah.
And I know people want to go out as well. Like, I mean, I don't want to go to the mall, go to Mac or any, like Sephora. Like, I don't think Sephora was up, like, it wasn't open then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was more Mac.
Yeah. Mac was like the go-to.
Oh wait, actually, it
is cutting her out, right?
Yeah, it is cutting you out. And we're back, and hopefully fixed with those technical issues. we
I
were
won't
having.
touch nothing no more.
We have one of the best guests here, and he knows. So just
I
saying,
know,
we got
this is
technical issues.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
it's
God.
not embarrassing. It's all good. So,
Yeah, we were like deep in your story. You were just telling us about how you were recruiting makeup artists at the Harari Heritage Center.
Yeah.
no. I can't believe I did that. You know, it was so much fun. You know, like you get your makeup done for free.
Yeah.
You go out, hey, and you give me feedback, right, on
Exactly.
the artist.
Yeah.
And then we did hairstyling as well. And then I dabbed on henna.
Oh,
So
okay.
they would come to your house. And then so I thought, you know what? Okay, we don't have the like investments right now. So let me just pivot and try something different. So they would just call me and say, hey, I need a makeup artist. So I would call the makeup artist, you know,
Yeah.
book the appointment for
so
you.
you were like the middleman.
Exactly. And then I
Okay.
would, you know, that's how we arranged the appointments for my clients. And then HP, like it just, everything happened at the perfect time.
Yeah.
So it was a couple of my girlfriends. We were sitting down I don't even remember when. And I said, you know what? We need to do something for our community because I'm using the community center.
Yeah.
I need to give back somehow.
Yeah.
And I just thought, you know what? There's no events. There's nothing to get us together, especially the youth, right? Young professionals. You don't know who's who. You don't know what Harari person is doing in this industry or
Yeah.
that industry. Like there wasn't any sort of networking event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we had a network. And we just started with a networking event within our community. Remember?
Yeah.
We just started.
Yes.
Just to see who would be interested. At the beginning, people were hesitant. They thought this was not a good idea.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good idea. right?
I remember that event.
Yeah.
Because
right?
before any of those professional events, I could have literally just thought that every Harari dude was like an engineer of some sort.
Yes.
And
Really? You
and
thought
every
that?
and every woman was like some type of nurse or something in the
my
medical
God.
industry.
Right?
Yeah.
You thought wrong.
I think that's the
My
immigrant
scope
story.
of what we could do was so small at the time.
Right? And it was nice to see a lot of like startups, like entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
people in different industries, music. Like it was just awesome, that
Yeah.
networking event.
Yeah.
And then we regrouped and we just said, you know what, let's do a legit event. That was, I thought, okay, you know, there was a lot of hesitation in the community because they were not used to it. And they're like, you're just
Yeah.
only focusing on professionals.
Yeah.
You got to make it more Harari, you know, like,
my
oh my
gosh.
God. I was like, honestly, like, let's just give this a shot.
Yeah.
I was super persistent. The team that I was with, oh my God, they were so supportive.
Yeah.
Like Hassan, Aylad, there was Khalid Mukhtar, like Amir, you were part of it as
Yeah,
well.
I was- I
like,
was
you know,
more
just
the brawn than the
right.
brains.
Sabri, he was doing all the accounting, like, you know, figuring
Yeah.
how much money we made. And we were going through a couple of challenges, but I basically contacted a bunch of Gesus that I didn't even know, but they trusted me
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
referrals. They paid for their own ticket. They were so inspired by the vision.
Yeah.
They came. I swear, that event, we had at least like what? Around 500, 550 guests.
there
The
were-
first
there were a
one.
lot of
Yeah, I
people.
remember the first
It
one.
was so successful. I was like,
Wow.
I couldn't believe
Was
this
it
worked.
the first one at the Daniel Spectrum?
Yeah.
The Daniel
Yeah.
Spectrum, I think hands down, was like, as a community, we should celebrate each other because
Yeah.
you guys haven't, like, Nadia Shash, remember the attorney?
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
think a lot of women were so inspired by her story
love
because
her.
it's touching. Yeah, she's
love
so
her. Yeah.
motivating and inspirational. There was Hanan Sharif as well. She was working in the UN.
Yes, I remember
and then
her.
that professor, Dr. Khalil, right?
Yeah.
And
Malawi,
just
I think, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and just and also Adib, you know, he was so
Yeah.
entertaining, and
He was.
and when people saw your brother Sabri as well, like just
Yeah.
talking about, you know what, we're regular immigrants who came to this country and we made something out of ourselves, right? And I don't think our community saw anything like that. Like you only think about, you said you're an engineer, you're a doctor, you're a nurse, or you have this like store business, right? So to see that, it really inspired people in our community. It inspired us to like look at ourselves and say, how can we be the best versions of ourselves, right? When you see someone from your own community, you don't ever hear about like a TEDx style for gay shoes, right? So that was super. And then we had a second one. I wasn't really happy with the second event. No, I was not happy about it. And that's when I said, you know what? Let's just reflect. Let's regroup. Let's see if this is something that we want to do moving forward. And that's why we put a pause. But I think there's a need. I think people are asking about it, but in a different, like a different, I don't know, a different experience.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Like, what would you want to see for HPN if we had to do it again?
Well, like now we're like, I feel like we've expanded. I feel like you guys did inspire a lot of the youth to kind of expand and try different things. Because now, like, maybe it's because of Instagram, I'm seeing a lot of us doing very different careers and stuff that you never thought we could do. Like, of course, Gizman would probably be my sister.
She
Aisha.
did it. Yeah,
Aisha,
she did it for us.
Yeah.
Aisha would be the first, like, best example of that. And then we have
Chainute, Amina in London, Amal in Australia. We have us.
But we also have like some of the youth creating like clothing brands.
Yes.
Like I think there's the orange one. What's it called again?
What's his name?
Shoot, why am I forgetting the name? I literally had it.
Is it?
Not extra. But he's also from our community. Like he's surrounded by us as well. So
okay, there's another one. It's with the arrows or something like that.
I don't know.
It's an orange. It's just an orange square. I forget what it's called. Maybe
square, D squared, something like
that. D squared. I haven't even heard of that.
They're gonna hate us if we hear this.
I know. Go check it out.
Search it up real quick.
But I think there's a lot of people in the community that are just thinking outside the box.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's kind of what we're seeing now. So maybe I feel like a lot of that might have been inspired by what we did, by showing them that we could do other things, right?
And there's always multiple ways of making income, right? So that the traditional, I mean, it's good. Like you should go to school, obviously, right? University, college is important. And there's also self-learning, right? Like you learn through experience.
Exactly.
And being around the right people to support you. That's very important.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't find it. But if you are watching or listening and you know that it's your brand, please let us know.
Exactly.
We'll put your link in the
I'll put it in there. I'll find it when I'm editing and I'll put it in. Okay.
Yeah. And I was even thinking about, like a Shark Tank for Hararis. That would be such a good idea. Like investors that are in the community investing in our community.
That would be amazing. Yeah. That's a great idea, actually.
I think something of that nature to make it more entertaining. And then a black tie affair, like everybody dresses from head to toe, like hors d'oeuvres being passed around, like that kind of vibe. So it makes it's elegant, it's timeless, it's classic, and it's memorable.
And also just to go also for artists, we have Timaj Garad, our other cousin, who's also doing,
even my brother, he's into like the music industry, like he's like different. Wow. So there's so many different collectives that we can connect with, right?
We might just have to
we might have a cousin connection.
Yes, cousin connection.
We'll brainstorm off camera.
Exactly.
An event coming soon, hopefully. Maybe
we're gonna put I'll think about it, and being like right now, having a business and work and your personal life, like it's important to give back, but it's good to be intentional in everything that you do. My mantra, remember?
Exactly.
Yes, Weddings with Nia. So
I love that you like embody that within your own life too, and not just for your business, because the fact that you can mesh it that well, that's an important thing to have, I think.
And it comes with growth, right? Like you grow, you go through experiences, and it's so important to figure out who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, you can't represent yourself to the world.
Exactly.
Said beautifully.
I know.
Take it. Put it on a shirt. Put it on a shirt. Exactly.
Let me see. Okay, so this was just a question that I feel like Amir might have had.
Okay.
Just to like understand. Well,
we've kind of covered.
We did kind of cover it a bit, but it was like, what does a wedding, like, what do you do? Like from, I know you kind of said you do everything.
Yeah.
But like really kind of give us like if you could just do like a quick like elevator pitch, like Amir was saying.
Yeah. Of what a wedding planner does. Like when they contact you, how does the process start? And like exactly, how do you go from there?
What do your duties include?
I know, right? Like, what's your job responsibility? I am not the cleaner. Just remember that, okay? And I'm not the person who, runs around and does everything. It's a wedding planner's role is to make your wedding experience awesome. So from start to finish. So getting the positive vendors. When I mean positive, these are vendors that are upbeat, that want to make your wedding day as beautiful as you are, right? Because I don't want to get a vendor just because they're amazing and they have attitude. Nobody wants to work with people with attitude, right?
Yeah.
So you get, your core vendors, getting that out of the way.
By vendors, you mean like people
photography, videography.
You handle all of that.
Everything. So I start from the if you
including
hire
food?
Me, everything.
Okay.
Wow. And I'm going to talk about that for our community. We'll talk about that later. So as the planner, I basically do everything start to finish from the beginning when you're engaged. When you told the world, hey, I'm about to say I do, give me a call, or any other wedding planner that you want to connect with, because we're going to start from the beginning, from, creating your budget, figuring out what kind of vendors you're looking for, going around looking for sites, site visits for venues, right? Okay. In addition, negotiating your contracts. That's also important. Reviewing your contract, because after COVID, before COVID, it was all good. But after, it's like people were asking for money back, refunds, closures, cancellations. So as a couple, like, you're freaking out because you're like, oh my God, I spent all this money.
Yeah.
So just to go back, so from start to finish, wedding planning, that's what it's all about. And then there's the wedding coordinator or wedding day management. That's for someone who has done everything already. They just want to put everything together. And usually we meet at least 2 months in advance. Okay. That's not my preference. That's not my specialty. I prefer to be there at the beginning because what about if, Oh, no. I
was just going to say, but like, so sometimes people get engaged and they don't get married for like another year. So you plan with for a year?
A full year. It takes time. Because sometimes in our community, they get married and they're like, oh, let's just have a wedding. And it's like all over the place. Right? So we want to take our time. This is an important day for you. Let's take our time. Let's find those vendors that will make it worthwhile for you. Yeah. Right? Because if you're rushing, guess what the vendor's going to do? Oh, she really wants me. I'm going to jap up my prices, right? And you look desperate, right? So you're going to take anything and then it just doesn't come out right and you spend all that money. So let's start from the beginning. Let's do it right. Yeah. So that's what a wedding planner does. But a coordinator is completely different. It's someone that you've done everything already. They come up, they put everything together and they execute.
Do you still, like, if someone's like, please, Rania, like, I really need you, would you still do it now?
It depends on who it is. I used to do it a lot and I burnt out. You become emotionally drained, you're tired. So it has to be the right client and it has to be the right couple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And I don't, it might be a touch stuff, but like during COVID, how did this affect the whole process?
It was a nightmare because there's people that their venues are closed. There's closures, there's cancellations. I want to get my money back. Most of the vendors won't give you your money back. It's like non-refundable because this is their small business as well, right? Like if they're giving back money to everybody, they're bankrupt, right?
Exactly.
It really affected the wedding industry tremendously because people were not able to celebrate like they used to, right? So maximum was like 50 guests at that moment, and it was spaced out. We had to wear masks, and on top of that, you remember, right? And there was no dancing because there's no contact. It was just, it was not fun.
It was awkward.
You did like a couple of COVID
I did
weddings,
two or three during COVID time, but then we did more of a personalized experience for them. And I think because of COVID now, there's a lot of trends that are, sipping through our community as well.
So you kind of learned some cool tricks.
During
COVID,
big time.
You kind of like transfer into a more larger.
Yeah, and I've noticed like now people are more. Not our community as much yet, but like the other communities are more focusing on intimate ceremonies and more of a reception that's probably like 100, maybe 90, 100, 200 guests max. But we're still, there's like 600 guests.
Let's get into that right now.
Yeah.
So like, have you found that our community is a lot less, I don't know.
Give us some horror stories.
Like they're hard to work with. Like, are they less, what do you call it when you're working with someone?
Do they create like a hostile? Like, how do you deal with a difficult client or a difficult family member? Like, how do you kind of navigate?
Because now you're dealing with like people that you're gonna be like
you're in the same community with.
Yeah, and it's harder. Yes. Just an FYI, majority of my couples and clients are not they're not Harari. So unless I really get, like, I know you, I have a handful that I worked with, and they were all the Harari clients that I had, amazing. Good. Just a disclaimer. Okay. So majority of my clients are not Geisu, but if they were Geisu, you know, you have to set the boundaries from the beginning, because they're probably like, oh, I'm related to you. I'm your khista or so and so. Give me the discount, please. For vendors, it's a total turn off. Don't ask for like discounts. Like negotiate, but don't ask for a discount, because it devalues someone's work. So just an FYI, they always ask for discounts, and they don't understand the value of a planner. They're like, we used to do it anyways without a planner. But look what happens when there is no planner. Like really think about the stress that comes with having no planner, right? So just to go back to your question about dealing with toxic family members, or just, you know, those aunts that just want to be involved in everything, or, you know, mother-in-laws that are really attached. It's always the boys.
Really?
Always. It's always, it's like, I don't know what it is, but, you know, they're really attached to their sons, and it's a memorable moment for them, and they feel like they want to be involved, and it comes off negatively sometimes. So you have to be, you know, patient. Being patient and setting boundaries from the beginning. Like, this is what I'm going to accept. This is the stuff that I'm not going to accept. So in my contract, there's a clause that if anyone is being harassed, yelled at, or treated poorly, we're done. We're not even gonna. No, yes, we have, because I've experienced it myself, and I'm not like, there's no way I'm not moving forward with that client. And you teach them how to treat you from the beginning, especially our community, because they know me very well personally, but they don't know me from a business perspective or that relationship. So you have to set the boundaries from the beginning, beginning, and being professional, because you don't want them to start calling you, oh, this is so happened, and they tell you stories and drama, and I don't want to get involved in that. I'm here to do my job. And then you just move on. It's really difficult too.
Like, when you're meeting with the bride and the groom, do you also meet with the families too?
I try to avoid it.
Okay, because I just you know.
I try to avoid that. Usually the age group that it's around 28, 29, 30s, 27-ish, right? If they're younger than that, always the family's involved. And I don't think that's the right clientele for me, because I want couples that are independent, they make their own decisions, and they have their own visions. Right. Because parents have their own way, and then you have what you want to. And that's where the conflict comes in.
I'm pretty sure that the mama's boys are probably the worst to work
with.
The
worst. And you know what? I understand, you know, when I understand how they're feeling. It's because, you know, their son is like their everything. Not for all mothers, right? But I mean, you know, you're leaving and you're in love with someone else, and it's that feeling of emptiness, or, oh my God, he's leaving me. What am I going to do? And they want to be involved in the wedding, and it becomes just chaotic, but they really don't mean it. It's just their feeling of loss.
About it, right?
And it's your son, you know what I mean? So like I said, it's always.
Hey, I won't be. If anything,
we'll see, Amir.
I hope not. Amir. No. But like, what do you guys? For the longest
time, I was on the like, I don't want a wedding vibe.
You're doing a wedding.
Oh, you're gonna have a wedding.
She's planning all of our weddings.
Yes, you're gonna have. You know what? It's one day. It is. You will never have that moment back. 20, 30 years from now, you're like, I should have, could have, would have. And you don't want that, right? So just do it. Even if it's a small celebration or a huge experience, do it. I think it's so worth it. I did it twice, guys. So hey.
So you do smaller events as well, right? Yes. Like smaller wedding events.
Okay. I like smaller events because I get to be more creative, and there's so much stuff that you can do in a smaller event because you have a bigger budget. Right. But that doesn't mean it's affordable. It could be more expensive as well.
Would you be like, have you ever done an event where you organized in someone's house?
Well, like around as COVID time, no, it was more like a nikah, or a small ankar mahtab.
Oh, you also do nikahs as well?
So my whole package is like, if you're East African, you know, we have Christians, Muslims, right? So I have a nikah package, which is just a ceremony, and then we have the reception. If you're Somali, you have the burambur. You guys know what that is? Yeah, it's like awesome. Wait, what's a burambur?
It's like the girls only event, right?
Yeah, it's usually women, and they chant a bunch of songs. Like there's an elder, and they shake their booty. You know what I'm saying? Like that's amazing, And then that's their version of like say ankar mahtab for us. And then for like, you know, we're Habash as well, but there's a mals as well that you do after you get married, your reception for close family, right? So and then us, we have gufta mogad, right? So there's so many different events, and that's where the it takes up time to do each and every event. There's different vendors. You have to do their scheduling. You have to deal with payments. So that's where the cost comes in, right?
So do you feel like you're building relationships on both sides with your clients and the vendors? Like you have to maintain
especially the
both.
vendors, because if you have a good team, you're gonna hire me because they're gonna do a great job.
Exactly.
But if I'm gonna refer you to a vendor that's not the greatest, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a major problem.
Yeah.
Because guess what happens 3 months down the line? Oh, my photos. Oh, I don't like my photos. What happened to my video? I don't like how this turned out. Like it's just a big mess. So start off right.
Yeah.
I'm sure at this point you probably have like vendors, your go-to vendors, right?
I have my go-to vendors, and I'm still developing that because it's only been 4 years, and I'm still learning from other wedding planners that are super successful.
Yeah.
One of them is Favored by Odit. She's phenomenal in the DMV area, and she expanded as well. She's like Habasha. She's so awesome. So she start like you get inspired by that, right? She has a different clientele as well. So I'm building that that relationship with my vendors, and also figuring out, okay, what do I want to do with this next, right? So I'm still in the infancy stage.
Yeah. Have you done any Arab weddings
I did,
yet?
and yes.
Okay.
It's not a wedding that I would prefer doing.
Yeah.
I did an South Asian and Palestinian wedding. It was mixed. So that was my first, and I did a South Asian wedding as well. But I love my East Africans. It's like so colorful, so vibrant, you know. That's my niche market, but I do a lot of multicultural weddings as well.
Do you feel like you have to like teach yourself about their weddings, or do they give you like the rundown and say
I try to learn as much as I can, but you know, for the East African community, I know it inside, like it's totally easy. But for, say, if I go outside, like say Nigerian or Ghanaian, like I try to do my best to learn before I meet the client. You know, I want to be knowledgeable.
That's good.
Like I don't want to be like, what's this, what's that. Like I want to be able to be a little bit more resourceful for my clients, right?
That's really good.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I love it.
What would you what would you say is like some trends that you may have noticed that are currently taking place that might be coming up next year for brides and grooms that are like, you know, thinking of planning their wedding and they want to create a vision? Like what's something that you want to throw out there?
I'll start with the good like trends, and then I'll go with things that we need to like just
let go,
get rid of,
right? So trends, I know for 2023, lots of destination weddings, you know, because we were so cooped up, right?
Yeah.
And people want to travel, you know, the COVID restrictions have lifted, so people are doing a lot of their receptions, say Portugal. I'm noticing that a lot of people are going to Greece, Europe, the Caribbean, you know, that's the vibe. So people want to travel, and the good thing with travel, it's very intimate. So it's personalized. You're out of the city, you're out of the country, and you're just enjoying yourself. You actually enjoy the experience. So that's a trend, and I'm noticing it with Geisus as well. Like Harari community, they do a big Ankar Mahtab, and then they're going somewhere else or another location or another, like the next following year, they start doing a reception somewhere else. Another trend that I'm noticing, and it's getting into our community as well, it's moving away from banquet halls for the receptions, and people are into like estates. Have you noticed? Like mansion, even in photos, like when they're doing a lot of portrait photos, like you're noticing that vibe, like that black excellence, black joy, you know, royalty kind of vibe. Like a lot of architecture, people are getting away from banquet halls and more into, like I said, mansions, estates, even wineries, museums. So think like something that's more creative and personalized, and that's seeping through our community as well. You'll notice a little bit of a difference. Those are a big, and there's shorter engagements. Have you noticed back in the days, they're like, so and so,
something.
but now it's like boom, like let's get married quick. So you have to do your wedding really quick. So I've noticed that trend, but there's so much stress on the vendors as well, because they're trying to keep up. So there's shorter engagement periods as well, and I think that's because of COVID, right? What do you guys think?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. Because like there wasn't as much that people had to during COVID, like people could have the engagement and like not worry about having to plan this big wedding, because like I can't invite everybody anyways.
Right?
Have like a small wedding like 3 months later, or not even 3 months later, right? And they don't have to, and like also they probably felt like, okay, I can get away with wedding now. And
let's just get it over with, right?
Without
and people notice that life is short, and you don't know what happens, so let's just get married, let's just do it, let's get it over with. So that trend has been like, it's also outside of, you know, our community, but it's seeping in. You guys noticed that, right? Like it's so quick.
When you have so many cultures, like they're not cross, but they're gonna start like influencing each other over time, right?
And we live
what
here,
happens.
right? It's a bit
Exactly.
different. We're not really
Exactly.
back home, but back
Yeah.
home weddings are like amazing,
Yeah.
right?
You
It really
actually
is too.
you did a wedding back home.
Yes, that was an experience of a lifetime. Guys, I don't even speak Amaranya, okay? And most people obviously they speak English, but it's just completely different. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity because
Yeah.
if I could do a wedding there
Yeah.
by myself,
Yeah.
I could do a wedding anywhere.
Oh, did you do it without
Literally.
your
Oh, you
team?
did it by
No, I did
yourself?
it by myself. I had 2 vendors that are from here. So imagine just navigating, like, just the psychology behind how they think. It's
Yeah.
completely different.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as email. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, whatever. Well, is she? That's all they say to you, you know?
Yeah.
So it was difficult. It was challenging.
All verbal
It-
contracts.
everything. And on the day of, you're like, that's not what we talked about. Don't worry. It's going to
Oh
be
my God.
fine.
Yeah.
It's different. I learned my lessons. It was a huge challenge. And like I said, if I could do a wedding in Ethiopia, I could do a wedding anywhere.
Literally.
Anywhere. So, and just to go back, some things that as a community we need to stop. Like, what do you think? Like, I want to hear from you guys.
As community, we need to stop.
Stop. Like, literally stop.
I know what Amir's gonna say.
What?
What?
He's gonna say we need to stop the POC time.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Right? Like,
Like-
tell me why. Why do
Yeah,
you say
if
that?
if you say like, okay, it starts at 7:00, I don't want to be sitting at like 9 p.m. Sometimes even later, like
Yeah.
still listening to the same returning tracks on that playlist they have that everybody's waiting for.
Right?
But you
Oh,
know
man.
what? I also think like if you're investing in your wedding and you want it to be an experience for your guests, you want them to come on time so that you're doing like, you know, before the bride and groom enter, if you're having like cocktail hour or you're having some sort of entertainment or
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like you want people to enjoy that and not be rushing in and oh my God, there are no seats. Can we share? You know what I mean?
Biggest
Yeah.
pet peeve, no seats. Like, why are you
Yeah.
inviting more people than you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
makes sense. That's not cool.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a thing in our community though.
I think you want to invite everyone. We're still, you
Yeah.
know,
We're a
that's
tight knit
not cool.
community and
everybody knows
related.
each other,
Exactly.
kind of, right? But you know, it should be personalized. It should be intentional of who you're inviting to your. It's a big deal,
Yeah.
right? So, because people complain, oh my God, the food.
Yeah.
Oh my God, look what the dress. Look at her dress. Lots of
know.
politics in weddings.
Yeah.
One thing I say that's super annoying. In our community, we need like a caterer. Yes or no?
Yeah.
We need a legit Harari caterer.
Didn't we have someone at
well,
one of
that's
the
like
HPN
Harari
events?
food, like
Like someone that does Harari food. It's
Yeah.
the same thing as going to any Ethiopian caterer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we just add a little bit of, extra spices here and there.
Yeah.
We just
Put
need a
berbere in the
legitimate.
cupcake.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know about that. But we need that. I know, that's bad. That's so bad.
I'm playing.
But don't you guys like it's so
Yeah.
annoying when you're seeing
Yeah.
your mother, your aunt, they're running around like frying the sambusas.
Yeah.
When do they have time to even look good and experience the
know.
time with y'all? That's what happened to my wedding. Like
Yeah.
my mom forgot the sambusas.
Yeah, for that first couple nights before the wedding, it turns
Oh
to
my
a
God.
sweatshop at the house.
Literally.
Or the community center.
Yeah.
And is it fair? Like
It's
that's not
not.
fair. Like
because they don't get to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're just slaving away for all the food.
Yeah.
and they're tired when they come. They're already in a negative mood. They
Yeah.
ruin the whole vibe. So it's just not cool. We need a caterer. So if
I
anyone is
agree.
interested,
Yeah.
please, someone who can cook,
Yeah.
who's interested in business, who's interested in weddings, I think that would be like that's ideal. Don't you guys
Yeah.
think?
Yeah.
Someone who's familiar with like East African cuisine.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you're booking a caterer now, they're just kind of doing like Canadian food.
Or
Yeah.
South Asian. Have you
yeah,
noticed?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Sabri had butter chicken at his.
I know,
Yeah.
but you want that injera and you want like tips and you want like, the sambusas, all the stuff that we want in our like weddings.
Yeah.
But that doesn't exist. I don't know. It's really difficult.
I actually prefer the other. No,
Yes.
The only reason I other prefer the other stuff is because I can actually track those calories. I can't
Oh
track.
my
Oh
calories.
my
Yeah.
god!
Yeah, another episode.
No, that's no. Another trend that I would say that I'm noticing is that 2-for-1 kind of wedding. Like you do an ankar mahtab, like a traditional,
Yeah, I know what you
and then
mean.
she switches up to her like gown
reception dress.
I'm not about that, but I
Yeah.
understand, budget constraints.
Yeah.
I get it. And you just want to get everything over with.
Yeah.
A suggestion that I would have, I don't know if you guys like this idea, is like do a legitimate ankar mahtab, like a
Yeah.
really good traditional event. And then the next day, go wear your dress with your bridal party, have a really nice portrait session, and just enjoy intimate with your.
I feel like
that's it.
I like that
in America,
idea.
In America, didn't they used to do the ankar mahtab in someone's house, and then they would
In
have the
America?
reception? No.
I know. Oh no, that's zagan karabu. Like that's before the ankar
Oh.
mahtab.
Oh,
Like
okay,
right when
okay.
they do
Yeah,
the
yeah,
nikah,
yeah,
they usually do it in the and the
Yeah.
homes there are huge.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you don't.
It's
it's
not
usually
gonna
in
happen.
Texas where you're seeing that kind of
Texas,
stuff, or
Atlanta, they have that, but not
Exactly.
here.
Yeah.
But I think that's, just to make it a little bit different. And you're wearing your dress for what, 2 hours?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
spent so much money, and then it becomes a club. Have you guys noticed the weddings are becoming like, they're totally lit. I get
think
it, but
the younger the generation gets,
yes.
Yeah.
they're doing like. Sometimes I'm standing like the last
And you
wedding
hear
that
like
I went
little
to. I
baby
was like,
popping up in the back.
Oh my
I feel
God,
so
right?
old here. Yeah, I'm just like, this is.
If
yeah.
you feel old, I'm like, damn, this is different, completely different. What else do I like? A trend? Oh, I don't know if like maybe you're noticing.
Yeah.
Why is it everybody's wearing the same giganafi in your jama'ah? I get it. It's your family. I totally get it. But please, not the entire. Like it just.
I'm not a fan of the matching.
Uniform. Not my fan. I
Yeah.
know the giganafi sellers are probably gonna kill me for saying this, but I mean like. Come on, be unique, be different. I'm not into that. A lot of other communities do it as well, but not like as much as us.
Get rid of gig enough.
No, that is
That's
our.
literally-
There's no
our
way.
culture, Amir.
Yes, that's it. Like
You're
that's
canceled.
all. I was about to say.
We're
There's
done.
no.
We're
What
done.
don't you like about? I
I'm
know.
sorry. I'm sorry.
How
What
dare
don't you not like
Look,
about
you
it?
guys both like destroyed.
How dare you? Why?
No. Okay. Not
Explain
get
yourself.
rid of gig and
Explain,
nafi, but
yeah.
like make it something that's more like someone can actually make it here, like a lot more available. Like maybe change the materials a little bit. I know it's all traditional and stuff, but
I
like
know.
I feel bad when everybody's like, okay, I gotta wait on my aunt to bring it from Ethiopia.
Well, no,
and
there
then
are
I have to
vendors.
No,
resize
we have
it.
vendors here.
There's-
They sell stuff here as
Yeah.
well. They're very
Then
good.
why do people still go back to Ethiopia to get it?
Because it's original.
Yeah.
You know.
There's-
I know.
Here's the thing: like there are the original like Bombay, Harari.
Yeah.
Those are like the OGs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you have the more sparkly like bridal ones.
Yeah.
Those you get from like Dubai, India, the
Yeah.
States. I don't know wherever they get it from.
Okay, yeah. Okay, maybe
Yeah.
maybe we should be like more pushing for just like the local makers of it. Like
Yeah.
don't put that pressure on each other to actually go back home just because you want to flex
Yeah.
on them or whatever and be like,
Which they
this is
do.
OG.
It
Yeah.
is. It's a competition with Giga Nafi. It's like the color, the design.
Yeah.
I want to be different. So and so wore this, and
Yeah.
they actually watch videos or they send it through WhatsApp. Have you
Yeah.
noticed?
But you know what I've noticed though? I've noticed
Um,
in the last maybe like 5-6 years,
Mm-hmm.
every single bride wears red. Every single bride has worn red to the Yankar Mahtab.
I'm not feeling
Red, and then the
that.
second color is either blue, green, or purple.
the primary color.
Is it traditional to wear red?
No.
No.
But every single, like, if you think back,
It's Yeah.
everyone
so
wears red.
true.
Mm.
And it's like she needs to stand out, but
Yeah.
everybody's competing with the bride.
Yeah.
You've noticed that? Like,
Yeah.
that's not cool.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
if you're a guest at someone's wedding, like, I know you want to look good, you can, but
Wear more neutral colors.
no, I mean,
Please.
the whole appeal of an Ankar Mahtab are the different colors.
Yeah.
Wear whatever color you want, but like if you're wearing, like if you're a married woman and you're wearing your own bridal set,
And they do that. I've seen.
know,
Trust
I
me,
know.
they do that. They
I've seen
compete.
people wearing like headpieces.
That's
too.
not cool. That is not cool. When you're wearing a siyas and
There
you're
are
not the
girls
bride,
listening to this right now
Yeah.
and they're
being
like, "Ugh," right?
No,
it's so
and
not.
I was like,
so not cool.
What are you doing?
And they're what about when horror story when one of a relative wore a white gown because it was their wedding and they just want to take photos.
no,
Yes, it
at someone
happened.
else's wedding.
Someone else's wedding. Yeah.
Hey, if you want to
No.
save money on, photos.
Yeah,
for your
come
wedding-
on, that is not cool. But people don't think, right?
Yeah.
And one last thing that I really recommend for our community: practice the Ankar Mahtab.
Yeah.
Please,
That'd
like
be
it's
nice,
so
though.
important. Just practice, like
Get a sound check.
rehearsal. Yes, not testing 1, 2, 3. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And always have dance floor vinyl, like the rap. Like
Yeah.
please, like it's just
yeah.
come on, like it's like having a wedding with no cake. So
You're talking about the one with like the name in the middle. or
yeah,
whatever.
it makes it nice. Something. to
Yeah,
have
you don't want
for
the
your-
wooden old like 1970s wooden panel.
I had
floors.
that, right? So, but now I think it's becoming more elegant,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah.
What would you say? Like, do you have any advice for couples that are just getting engaged and wanting to get married? Like, what's some advice you want to give to them in terms of if they're looking for a wedding planner, if it's worth it, where to start? Should they come to you with ideas, or if it's not you, like any planner?
yeah, they usually come. They have an idea. They're so excited, but the number one thing that they have to figure out is their budget. because a wedding planner we're not all pricey, like we are expensive because we're taking on your stress.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, a lot of time, resources, and energy to make your wedding a success. So it is a cost, but it's so worth it. Like, it's the best investment that you can make for a wedding. Like, the best. If I had to go back in time, I would hire a wedding planner. 100%.
Yeah.
So, like, understanding your budget and what do you want out of your wedding? Is it for your family? Then it's a different story. But if it's for you and your partner, like, how do you want to remember it? Like 10, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
That's the most important.
Yeah.
So before you call me, just know your budget, please.
That's
Don't tell me you
good
have a 500 guest list and you're like, I only can afford 20,000. And it happens. So it's better to be honest and direct.
Okay.
I wanted people to get to know Rania more as a personal person. You know, like how's your experience growing up? Like, you weren't born here, right?
No, I was born in Saudi. Yeah,
Saudi?
Saudi, like majority of my friends who came here during that time, I think around like the 90s or so, like we all came here.
How old were you when you first got
Don't
here?
ask.
Okay.
That's not the
She
question.
shut you
Yeah.
down so quick.
Don't ask. I was pretty young. I was like, I think 7.
Okay,
Or
okay,
6,
we'll say that.
something like
Okay.
that. Let's
we'll
just-
say we'll say you were pretty young, but you were at least
Yes.
at the age where you can kind of like you knew a different culture before you came here. No?
Like it was, we were young and we were in Saudi. We were figuring ourselves. We were still figuring out who
That's
we
the thing I
were,
wanted
the
to get to.
identity.
Yeah, that's the thing I wanted to get to, because like your generation, especially when I'm talking about like Munib and Khalid and everything, like you guys came in a time where like you were you weren't like technically born in Ethiopia. You were in this weird like middle generation where you weren't born here, so like you didn't know where to find your place. And I feel like a lot of you, some of them might have struggled with that and tried to like find their place here. So like, how was it in those earlier years getting used to this culture? Did you just like kind of like blend in right away?
We assimilated really well because we were pretty young. I think when your cousins came, they were probably like
They were
16,
like 13,
17,
16,
around that age group where they're molding and figuring out who they were. So coming to a different culture, different norms, it must have been a little bit challenging for them. But for us, we assimilated really well.
Okay.
I've always thought, I am Geisu, but I still had to figure out, okay, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does Geisu mean? At that time, it wasn't like, there wasn't a lot of us. And then it just exploded, right? Like, I think around like the 90s, like everybody was coming. Like, and everyone was at, I think, Teasdale, remember?
Yeah, that's the OG spot. Either Teasdale or
where Jameson. Teasdale,
already
Jameson. So everybody just aggregated there. But I think us, as we were growing up, we had a close group of friends. We were all Geisu. That's how we all grew up together, and we're still friends till this day.
I wish I had a photo.
The one at the community center, that's all of us. That's literally every single one of us.
Yeah.
Like, we are the OGs of that time, right? So we grew up here, we assimilated really well, but I think certain, like, it depends on when you came. Like, if you were here around like 13, 14, 15, it was a hard time.
Yeah.
You're learning the language.
Yeah.
You're also Geisu. You're also Ethiopian, and you're also Muslim. And at that time, there wasn't, like, you don't talk about Islam as much as you do now, right? Being Muslim is like more of an identity rather than just a religion now, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
It's definitely become more of an identity.
Because you guys
now.
are born here, right, y'all?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different for you. You're Canadian.
Yeah.
I'm confused. So
We actually talked about that in a few podcasts ago, where I was like, I don't ever say immediately that I'm Canadian. I'll go first say I'm Harari or Ethiopian first.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, I was born here though. Because a lot of people will get confused when I say I'm Ethiopian, but like, so when did you come here? I'm like, no, actually I'm born in Canada.
Yeah.
But I identify usually as Ethiopian or Harari.
Come on,
true.
that's who we are. You know, that's what makes us. Isn't it nice to be Ethiopian? Like, really, like, I love it.
Yeah.
We have
So,
such a
so I
cool
feel like
culture.
you have a very similar love for the culture.
Absolutely.
That really do. Clearly.
Yeah.
She has to. She's planning weddings.
Exactly.
Yes, it's fun. I love it, you know?
Yeah,
So, but that's a very good question about identity and figure out who you are
Yeah.
in this world, in Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, that's this main thing that I wanted to know there and get people to know about you.
Ooh.
That's a good question.
Yeah, and then if anyone has like questions about wedding planning, they can always email me, send me a message, through DMs. I have an assistant who takes care of that.
Yeah.
But I do my best to respond as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
We'll
I think
keep
Sarah had one
her
more.
contact details below if you're on YouTube,
Mhm.
and on Instagram on the post you'll see it there too. So
Yeah, any questions, I'm almost here to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had one more question?
Yeah. So I want to touch on a little side business that may start up for Rania.
That's not true.
I know. As you guys know now, as I've mentioned, Rania is like my older sister, so we often have a lot of like catch up calls, girl chat. And one thing that she always mentions is, let me set you up with someone.
Are you single? Right? No,
Yeah.
I mean, it must be hard. Like right now, like just meeting people. And I know at weddings, they actually ask me, hey, you know what? Like you're Harari, it's okay. Like I don't mind. I want to marry Harari. Like a lot of Somalis come to me and ask. Yeah, they're looking to connect, but there's no way of connecting. Like who wants to be on an app?
Matchmaking with Nia.
I don't know about that. Matchmaking is a skill. It's always through people, right?
Yeah.
So it's
But you've been a pretty good matchmaker from what I've heard. So
only two. Was it 2 people or 3 people?
Like 3 couples?
3 couples.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's 3
One
more
of them
than
is
me.
she's still married to him. So I'm so
Wow.
happy for her. It's been like almost 8-10 years. One
Oh
of
my
them.
God.
yeah.
The other one, who was the other one? Yes. We had a successful one right now as well. And he met me through a wedding. And then I introduced them. So it's just natural, right?
Yeah.
But matchmaking is a skill. And it's not putting 2 people together. Just because they're cute, that doesn't mean it's going to work out, right? Like it's actually figuring out, okay, are your values the same? You know?
I've watched enough of those Indian matchmaking shows.
Oh, did you watch the one on Netflix?
Yeah,
I watched that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how they do it? Like she literally has a Rolodex of men, right? And their age, what they do. And I think in our community, it's like a little bit of, not a taboo, but
I feel like referrals are a thing in our community, are they not?
Yeah, but it depends on the personality of the guy or the girl, depending on like, how they want to be approached.
And one thing I learned through my own experience is that, when people are matchmaking, it's to benefit the person that's connecting you. It's kind of weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like, you know what, like this person so and so, they have this, they have that, like go meet them. But it's actually it's for it benefits the person
that's setting you up.
Yeah, it's not really about you.
Oh.
Have
really?
you trust me. I
Maybe-
know y'all
I've never
didn't
done it,
notice
so
that.
maybe
Trust me.
I
Yeah,
have
and you're like,
experience.
why are they introducing me to this person? Like that's kind of odd, right? So little things like that. And just and before you introduce someone, you better know why you're introducing them, because it can create a lot of
you can't just be like, oh, this person's like
yeah,
the same age as you, whatever.
Or like, go talk to them. It doesn't work like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
have you guys ever been matched? Like, did anybody send
I've
you guys
set
your
people
referral?
up.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
Oh, I've never said.
Men don't do that. Like, it's kind of weird,
oh
right?
Oh my God, never.
Yeah.
Amir would probably be the worst wingman
He's like,
ever.
oh, I can't do this, right? Yeah. It's
But
kind of
like
weird.
me, I'm trying to sign him up every single day of the week.
Every man, everyone wants him on. They're like, oh my
You
God,
could get
Amir.
married
I know.
tomorrow,
I'm
like-
telling you.
Oh my God.
But what do you guys look for in like? I'm asking you guys the question. Like, what do you look for aside from like, oh my God, he's tall? Forget the tall. Like, doesn't matter about the height, but just in general, like, what do you guys look for in a relationship?
Well, I think we've already talked about this, but like, I'm always looking for someone who's very much me, but just female version.
Does
So
that
like,
exist?
is health and fitness oriented,
yeah.
a chill, I can take a joke, take a couple
Yes.
jabs, that kind of thing. Yeah, so it's just those main things really, and then of course like religious or Muslim.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess that's like a
spiritual
default.
as well,
not
right?
like super spiritual, but like
Yeah.
like it's not like Islam is like an afterthought to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. No,
Yeah.
right? So religion it's very important.
Yeah,
for
it's
you.
part of their life. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say same. And just someone who, because I'm a pretty like easygoing person, and I
Yeah.
want someone who can match that vibe. Like,
Yeah.
I also just want someone who's good with my family, because that's like a
Very
huge
important,
thing. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And you don't want someone who clashes with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really. You're putting me on the spot. So.
I know. I'm asking you guys the questions, right? Because you never know.
Yeah.
I'm always at weddings, and it doesn't
That
have
is
to be,
true.
a Harari guy or girl, right? But
Yeah.
it's
Are you
it's
open to Harari?
I think I've mentioned that one. Yeah, it's like I said, I prefer.
It's easier, guys.
Yeah, I prefer
Yeah.
Harari. Yeah.
It's easier with the language, it's just easier. It doesn't mean it's the only thing that's right, right?
Yeah.
I think in the way that like we're moving now with life, like the cultures are blending
Very
so
much
much
so.
now, and I think I don't want to call it a trend, but at one point I was seeing a lot of like interracial or intercultural relationships coming out.
It's happening a lot now. A lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it still? I felt like it kind of stopped, and people were doing a lot of like Harari and Harari. Like,
I'm noticing it more like
Oh.
Filipino and gay soup, for example.
Oh,
yeah. Like I'm
okay.
noticing that even Somali and Asian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm noticing a lot of that.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, I
Okay.
know I keep saying.
I'm like scared
I
of
know.
touching this. Yeah. But matchmaking, I don't know if I'll ever do matchmaking.
Yeah.
But you know, low key, if I know
Yeah.
somebody, I'm like, hey, Sarah or Amir, right?
Yeah.
So it's just I wouldn't know anymore, right? But I
Yeah.
mean, even with my husband, like I'm totally opposite from him.
Yeah.
He's super
Yeah.
chill.
Yeah.
I'm like, but
But
you
do you
know,
feel like
But it
the
works.
opposite,
Yeah.
Yeah.
balances you guys out, right?
yeah, he's very chill. He's not from like he wasn't raised here, right? So you have to look at that as well. Like I was raised here, like literally, I'm from
Yeah.
Canada, right? So
Yeah.
he wasn't raised here, but he has the value system and everything that we don't clash. Like
You look
we
for it.
make
Yeah.
it work.
That's
Exactly.
good.
So that's what I was about to say. Like, would you go for someone like from back home or outside of Canada?
I said no. I was like, never.
no, right? No, and it depends. When I mean back home, it's not like they
Yeah. It's
You
more
know?
of just like a cultural thing.
cultural context. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Because
yeah.
even though I do identify as Ethiopian, I do know I'm very
Yeah.
influenced by the Canadian culture.
yes,
And like just how our mannerisms, everything. right?
mannerism,
Yeah.
the way we communicate, the way we think about
way we
things.
joke around
Joking
is
is a
very
big one.
different, yeah.
Very different, you
Yeah.
know. But I mean, like say for example, like your cousins, they've been here for a very long time, so it's all good. It's
Yeah.
different, like that kind of.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
what my husband is as well.
Yeah.
He's been here for a while, but I was raised here, so we still have differences. But
Yeah.
you make it work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
hint,
Okay.
hint, Sarah. We're gonna hook her up, guys.
Oh gosh. All right. On that note, we're
Okay.
ending
yes,
this.
I know.
Yeah, again, sorry guys. Again, sorry for the technical difficulties, but then again, this was an amazing episode besides
Yes.
that. So, Rania, thank you again for
Thank
coming
you.
out
This was fun.
and
Thank
doing
you
this
so
with
much.
us. Hopefully you guys learned a lot, and you might
Yeah.
be reaching out. You might be hearing a couple from a couple of our followers here who might be
Yes.
getting married soon.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you again for listening. Oh, you want to close it out actually?
All right.
I feel like I feel like I just took that over from you. You're about to
Yeah.
start.
No, it's okay.
No, okay,
It's okay. I was
You
just
go.
gonna say, don't forget to like this video, give us a thumbs up, and let us know if you are enjoying the guests that we've been having on. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok. We will have more TikToks coming out.
You're on TikTok.
We are.
We're on everything.
yes, yes.
And of course, we're going to have Rania's contact info, all of her social media pages listed below. So please give her a follow. Reach out to her if you're getting married soon,
Yes,
because
yes,
she
yes.
will fulfill all your wedding dreams and wishes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, we will see you guys next week.
Bye.